Well, howdy, nearly senior citizens, boys, girls, and all the friends, and welcome to another brand new day. Oh boy, a brand new day, hokey smokes. I didn't exactly have insomnia last night, but I didn't sleep all that well. First, of course, we're going to start off with the Shelton, Washington weather report. It was cold last night when I went out walkies, and it was threatening to rain, but didn't. This morning, it's pretty bright, of course, but it's raining. It's raining. So it's chilly. Ooh, as you can see, I'm wearing another thing on top of a thicker shirt, and I'm still cold, so thumbs up for that. But yeah, last night, oh boy, in an effort to make sure that my legs would not cramp, because that's been bad. I've mentioned how I folded up the sheets and such on my bed, so that from my knees down, my legs are uncovered. Well, for the first part of the night, that works real well. It cools me down and keeps my legs from cramping. The second half of the night is pretty bad, because that's when all the heat from outside has dissipated, all the heat from living in the house has dissipated, and it starts getting cold. But I still have two fans on high blowing over my legs. And hokey smokes, I usually wake up from now about 4 o'clock-ish onward because I'm so cold. Plus I hurt because I've just been laying on one side, and I don't move when I sleep, so everything hurts. And it's just freezing from that point onward. I do have some little timer things that I'm going to try, where I'm going to hook the main cool-off fan to one of these little timer things, and then 3 o'clock in the morning or so have it turn off. And then hopefully that won't wake me up when it goes click, and then the fan turns off. But I need to have the cooler air to keep my legs from getting too hot so that I don't cramp up. Thumbs up. Still though, I slept a little bit until I froze. So at least that's good. I've been up since 5. I finally I was hurting too much. I was too cold and I was bored because I was wide awake. So I've been up since 5. Thumbs up for that. I have halfway determined what sort of scheduling I'm going to try and do for my ADHD med taking to make the whole effect last until it's time to go to bed, because yesterday I stretched stuff out so that the last dose I took was right around 3 o'clock. That, while I didn't have a high concentration peak, large concentration peaks like I get if I just, keep the tapered points smaller, but because I spread it out like that so that it would go chunk, and then till 9 o'clock at night, that worked out. I was able to at least feel time slow down, even if I couldn't fully concentrate like when I went walkies, and that at least is better. So it's not as strong a peak, nor do the peaks last as long that way, but it lasts a full day and I don't have to worry about it wearing off while I'm awake. So I take my first dose at 6 o'clock in the morning, the 10 milligrams of methylphenidate hydrochloride, and then I take the next dose at 8 o'clock. So that would mean it wears off at 2 in the afternoon. But I'm taking it an hour back from that, taking the first half of my second dose at 1 o'clock, and then taking the last half of the second dose at 3 o'clock. So it'll start to all wear off at about 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning, and then it's all just fade away until 9 o'clock on. But from 9 o'clock on, I'm really getting tired. I used to be nocturnal. I spent decades working on night shift, or at least over a decade working graveyard shift. And then I had been fighting before that, trying to stay awake during the daytime and trying to sleep at night. And then after that, after I got married, and I tried to become a daytime person, and I would drag all day trying not to fall asleep. And then as soon as it turned into nighttime, I woke up. So that was fun. But then 2 or 3 years ago, something flipped in my biochemistry. And now when the sun goes down, I get tired. When the sun comes up, I wake up. And that's new and different and weird. So, yay on that. As I tried to remember the original point of why I brought that up, I can't exactly remember why. I've only been able to take 1 dose of my med because it has to stretch out over a full day. So, I've got the slow down feeling of time, but I don't have a lot more on that. Boy, I wish I could remember why I brought that up. Still though, thumbs up. Thank you for coming along with me on this journey of exploration. It is greatly, greatly appreciated. Definitely a thumbs up. Each and every one of you that watches is a beautiful and wonderful person, and it is greatly appreciated that you are watching. Thumbs up and thank you. I try my best to answer as many comments as I can. I'm getting better with the meds that I'm taking, so I'm able to answer more, and that's good. So thank you all very, very much for coming along with me on this journey of exploration. I am more awake now than I have ever been in my life. And even at that, I can still look back at my life just 1-2 years back and just go, oh, I thought I was awake, but I was just sleepwalking. And I mention this periodically too, and hopefully though my recovery will continue so that 2 years from now, I will look back and be able to say, wow, I thought I was awake, but I was still sleepwalking, because I'll continue to make that much progress. So thumbs up. Definitely appreciated, each and every one of you. Also on this side, though, I took a good long look at my vaccination card the other day, and I'm both amused, of course, because you have to laugh at stuff like this, and bemused because for my next shot, I have an appointment for 8:20 in the morning. Now, I don't really know that I'd be able to call and change the time. They're pretty full up, and it has to be 2 weeks, so there's only a small window. And there were a lot of people there getting shots with me that day. So I don't think there's a very good chance I'll be able to get it rescheduled for later that day. They're busy. So that means it takes about an hour to get there. If it's at 8:20, that means I have to leave here on the road, feet on pavement, at 7:20 a.m. Well, I usually record starting at 7, and then I finish at 7:20, and then I start editing and rendering, and well, I'm not going to be able to do that, am I? So on the day that I have to walk back up to the hospital to get my second vaccination shot, I'm going to be able to record that morning. And then 2.5 hours later, I will be able to finish editing and rendering and then uploading. Still, it's better than not having anything at all, so thumbs up on that. A good thing. My housemates have been up and wandering around, so if you've ever heard any sounds coming through, that's what you may hear. It's not anything odd or unusual. That does remind me, though, here, over on my topics list, and I was going to bounce off this one. I've wanted to sort of talk about this. I've kind of talked about this, but the weird stuff that happened, I've never really talked about to a lot of people. I spent 10 years living in an ancient, badly made house in Bellingham, Washington, with constant flow of roommates until the end, where it was just I and a friend. Because it was ancient and old, and there was a sump pump that would run almost constantly in the basement. And that's an important thing, both of those that I've told you. We had roommates that would leave because they didn't like how draining and oppressive the place felt. There was just something wrong. And I always would feel and hear things, and other people would feel and hear things. And it was only decades later that I started hearing and reading about extreme low frequency sound. Stuff that you can't hear, but it affects your body. Feelings of dread, feelings of being watched, feelings of being drained, feelings of fear. We were right by a big heavy road in an ancient house that had a sump pump running inside of it. That place was probably flooded with extreme low frequency sound. And not only does it affect your emotions, as stated, because you can't feel it though, it does things like you can be totally affected by it, where your eyeballs are shaking and you can't feel it and you can't hear it, but you're seeing things. People that have been affected by this, where it's just their eyeballs are shaking from the sound, have seen people leaning against walls get up and walk towards them. And it's just that. And as soon as their eyes moved out of that extreme low frequency zone, everything vanished and it was gone. So we must have had a ton of extreme low frequency sound. But I don't know how that affects your ears. Because there were a lot of times that I would hear things. One, because I had my computer out in the living room type area. And this was around the time that Doom was out and all that. It was like 93, 94, it was the mid-90s. And this one particular time, I had a room that was just off the living room, so I could hear in there. And while I was getting ready to come out and talk to my roommate, because I was sleeping during the day and it was nighttime, and I could hear him playing Doom on my computer, and it was loud, and I could hear the gunshots, I could hear the monsters. It was all happening, and I was feeling pretty good about talking to my roommate because he was playing my favorite game. And I opened up my door and I walked out, and it was absolute silence. There was nothing. My housemate was at work. So all that noise that I heard happening in there, who knows? Later on, I had another room. There was a room switch. I had been down there. Later on, I moved upstairs to this other room. I was upstairs playing with my computer. Sometimes, periodically, not often, but sometimes my one housemate would come home from work for lunch. I heard and felt him come home. The front door opened and shut. Windows, kind of rattled like windows will do because of changes in air pressure. I heard him tromp up the stairs. I heard his door shut as he went into his room to do something. I came out to talk to him. Nobody had come home. It was dark and empty. There was nothing there. The front door hadn't opened, but the windows had shaked. And I had heard somebody come up the stairs, and I had heard the doors shut. Extreme low frequency sound affecting your ears? It must, because I try to be as rational and reasonable as possible, and I actually don't believe in anything supernatural because I've never seen anything or heard anything that actually could qualify as. I've never seen enough evidence for it, and I'm the kind of person that if there's not enough evidence to prove your point, you haven't proved your point. I have never seen enough evidence for anything supernatural. I don't believe in it. That doesn't mean I can't or won't. I keep an open mind, so if I can be convinced by evidence, if you can drag me from point A to B to C to D to E, and it's a logical thing, and it makes sense, by the time I get here, I'm in your camp. But I've never been able to follow that chain on anything for like supernatural stuff. It's not a conscious choice, it's just the way my brain works. So I don't believe in supernatural stuff, and I'd love to, but once I heard about extreme low frequency sound, it was like, Puh, that was a high street in Bellingham. So, yay on that. And I've opened up 24 hours worth of comments in my community tab, and I'm going to go through and thank 20 to 25 people for having left me a comment. I am not reading the comments right now, except accidentally. I have very good peripheral vision. I am just thanking you for having left a comment. Good, bad, indifferent. You took the time, you expended the calories. Thank you very much. If I mispronounce a username, no disrespect is intended. I am an American English speaker, and even though I count American Sign Language on the fingers of this hand, with my depression, fibro, ADHD, that is being treated, but I need better treatment and more. I'm sometimes lucky I can remember anything at all. So we have Mike Fink, thumbs up. So Mike Fink was actually very unpleasant, but still. Sacha Boy 2, thumbs up. A good idea, but oy vey, I try. Joseph Bravo, thumbs up. We have Ice Damon, greatly appreciated. Flav, thumbs up. We have Ricky Bettini with a daily reminder to live every day to its fullest. Thumbs up and thank you. Humberto Conde, thumbs up. Person of Earth, thumbs up. We have Mafia Monster, thank you very much. Christopher Thomas, greatly appreciated. Conspo Lopez, the thumbs up. And yeah, napping and sleep is weird. I'll have to talk more about that later. A Banana, greatly appreciated. Colin Reisenauer, thumbs up. We have Crystal Phillips, thumbs up. Reda Deroua, thumbs up and thank you very, very much. I'm sorry I don't know how to pronounce your name. We have Sam Murray. Where was I? I was here, so it's Sam Murray. There we are. And then there's Lily Page, greatly appreciated. Nando Rice Charuti, whom, even though you liked my pronunciation of your name, I still wish I knew how to pronounce your name correctly. But thumbs up and thank you very much. It is good to see you in the comments. And then we have Please Help, thumbs up. Brendan Kopp, greatly appreciated. Gavid, thumbs up. And then there is Shammy D, thumbs up to that. And then we have Sazani TZ, greatly appreciated. Nico Bands, always good to see you in the comments. And there we are, 24 people having left me comments in the last 24 hours. It is greatly appreciated. Definitely a thumbs up. You get me out of my head, into the world, dealing with real people. Definitely a thumbs up on that. Greatly appreciated. If you could check out my various links down below at Twitter, Facebook, Patreon.com. If you could become a Patreon.com patron like one of these beautiful and awesome people, that would be beautiful and awesome. And if you'd like to help me out without sending money through the patronage, I have the PayPal link down below. If you'd like to help me out without sending money at all, I have an Amazon wishlist link as well, where hopefully today I will have it updated to have things like Reptisand and cat food and hamster bedding. If you could check it out, that would be cool. Now, do not feel obligated. I do not feel entitled. And if you cannot donate, or you simply do not donate, I take all good wishes and I deposit them in the bank of my heart, where I draw interest. So thank you very much. If you could toss me a like, I appreciate all the positive validation I get from my existence. And of course, if you could hit the notification bell on the subscription button, that would be very cool. Thank you very, very much. And of course, even though the duck head of scorn no longer wears the lobster hat, the great and powerful artifact, it still, while it wields its scorn like a weapon, does wish the best for us. Its mockery is severe, but while it does not have the words like the horse head of encouragement, it does wish us the very, very best, and that is good. But no fear, my friends, the horse head of encouragement is still out there and still trying to regain its lost throne. Since the duck head of scorn no longer has the lobster hat, maybe the horse head of encouragement has regained its crown. And of course, Black Lives Matter and Stop Asian Hate. Good golly, Miss Molly. And during these very hard times, please try to stay as safe and creative as you possibly can. It is a good thing. So if you don't have to go out, please don't go out. And if you do, wear a mask, wash your hands, try not to touch your face, maintain your social distancing. We're getting close to the end of this. So just do your best. Get vaccinated if you can. Definitely a thumbs up. So, You take care. Have a great day today. I will see you on the flip side, and that is a definite thumbs up. It's such cheerful music. Hopefully I don't just have boring silence instead of the nice music there.